guys, it's Amanda from AmandaReads, and today I am coming to you with my December wrap-up video. December started off as a really slow reading month for me, so I did not have high expectations for this month. I knew that I had about 4 more books to get to my 100 book goal, and I knew I would get that done, but I wasn't expecting to go above or beyond that goal. The first book I finished was a book that I started last month in November, and it's Leaving Time by Jodi Picoult. Now, this book started off really great. I was reading it really quickly, but then towards the middle, it just started to get very meh. I was really struggling to get through this. There were days I just didn't read because I didn't want to pick it up, which is really surprising because I usually speed through all of Jodi Picoult's books. Like I said in my last month's wrap-up, this book had a lot of information about elephants. I felt like it was taking away from the story at times, too much scientific research, and I understood what the point and the effect of it was supposed to be, but I just felt like a lot of it was unnecessary. I did end up giving this book 4 out of 5 stars. This book is totally worth reading just for the twist at the end. Like, you will not see it coming. It's actually amazing. I wrote on Goodreads that the ending is what made me give this book 4 stars. Like, I literally, it was unreal. But you had to read the meh book to get to the amazing ending. So while I was reading Leaving Time and kind of getting stuck in a reading slump, I decided I wasn't gonna let that happen. I ended up picking up The Voice on the Radio, which is part of the Face on the Milk Carton series. This is book 3 out of 5. And the only reason I decided to read 2 books in one time because I really needed this to motivate me to want to finish that. So this was really short. I knew I would fly through it. These books, like, literally you sit and read them for like, they're done in a half an hour. It's unreal. So this was The Voice on the Radio. I can't really go into much detail because it is a series. I don't want to give anything away, but this might be my second favorite book in this series because there's a betrayal that happens and the main character just starts standing up for herself. Like, she's been weak and whiny the first 2 books, and all of a sudden she's just strong, and that's why I like this book so much. I ended up giving this book 5 out of 5 stars. Next, I was at my boyfriend's house and I didn't have any books to read, but he was playing video games, so I decided to get an ebook from my library, and I picked up number 8 in the Series of Unfortunate Events series, which is The Hostile Hospital. Now, I sat and read this book in about 45 minutes to an hour, and I completely forget the entire thing. But I did rate it on Goodreads. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I wrote, I decided to continue on with this series this month after putting it down 2 months ago. I liked this installment because it was more action-packed, and also the book went darker than it had before. I felt like the threat of Count Olaf was more present in this story than the previous ones. I don't know why I can't remember it. It's like, I actually feel like I had a memory lapse. Like, I don't remember a thing. So that's kind of scary, but I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. After I finished The Hostile Hospital, I picked up What Janie Found, which is the 4th book in the Face on the Milk Carton series, and I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed this book while I was reading it, but when I went to review it, I realized that nothing actually happens in this book. And all it was really a setup for the final book in the series, where a lot does happen. So the 4th book was very anticlimactic, and this was what I wrote on Goodreads. When I think back, this might be the most unclimactic book I've ever read in my entire life. Nothing actually happens in this book, but with that being said, this book was basically a prequel novella to the final book. Carolyn needed a segue, and I didn't hate it. Because I finished What Janie Found, and I realized it was like a prequel novella to the final book, I had to pick up Janie Face to Face, which is the final book in the Milk Carton series. This book was actually genuinely creepy. Like, I got goosebumps reading this. I felt like this book was written so much better than the other books in the series, and it was my favorite book in this series. It was such a satisfying end to this like crazy series. So I gave Janie Face to Face 5 out of 5 stars. Finally, I picked up All These Things I've Done by Gabrielle Zevin, and I thought that this was a standalone novel. However, it is actually the first in a trilogy, so I had to order the other 2 books, but I flew through this. Gabrielle Zevin is one of my favorite authors. She is an amazing writer. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars, and basically it's about a girl named Anya Balanchine who lives with her brother, her sister, and her grandmother. Her mother was murdered. Her father was murdered. He owned and operated a chocolate supplier that supplies chocolate to basically the United States. Doesn't sound that crazy, except the year is 2083 and chocolate is illegal. Chocolate is illegal, caffeine is illegal, but you can drink. You can drink if you're like 15, you can have alcohol. Alcohol is not illegal or prohibited or anything, so it's really weird. But anyways, so Anya basically wants to live a normal life. She doesn't want her family name to give her a bad reputation or have an effect on the opportunities she may be given or anything like that. But obviously, unfortunately, that's not really how it happens. So she has a lot of troubles that she has to face because of who she is and who she was born as. She doesn't want to be a part of the family business, but people keep trying to tell her that she should be. So she's really just trying to find her way in the world and trying to do what she wants to do, but make the right decisions for her family. So it's really hard. But I really like this story. Like I said, I powered through it so fast. It was so good. So I can't wait to get the next 2 books and read them. And finally, once I finished all these things I've done, I did finish My True Love Gave to Me, which is edited by Stephanie Perkins. It has all these wonderful authors giving short stories. I've rated all of the short stories individually on my Goodreads, so if you're interested in seeing the ratings for each of the short stories, you can go on over to my Goodreads page. The information's in the down bar, and you can see them there. So that's it. Overall, I read 7 books in the month of December, and so I brought my total read books for 2015 up to 103, and my goal was originally only 25, so I'm so impressed with how far I came and how much I was able to accomplish when I really set my mind to it. I hope that you had a really great December reading month. Even if you only read 1 book, I hope the book was great and worth it. So I hope you're doing really well with your reading goals. I can't wait to see what you have in store for 2016, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye guys!